You know what breaks my heart? When a rich person fails, they call it a lesson. When a poor person fails, their children go to bed hungry that night. If you've ever laid awake at 3 a.m. with an idea burning in your chest, a dream you're too scared to chase, if you've ever wanted to start something new, try something different. But then that voice whispers, what if you lose everything? If you've ever felt like taking risks is a luxury only the wealthy can afford, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about something nobody else wants to say out loud. Why poor people are afraid to take risks, and whether that fear is really unfounded. I'm not here to sell you dreams. I'm here to tell you the truth. The kind of truth that might make you uncomfortable, but it's the truth you deserve to hear. Let me paint you a picture of what poverty actually looks like. It's a single mother sitting at her kitchen table at midnight, crying silently so her kids don't hear, trying to figure out which bill to pay this month, heat or food, medicine or rent. It's a father who works 2 jobs, comes home exhausted, looks at his children, and feels like a failure because he can't give them the life he promised. It's that young person with talent, with fire in their belly, with ideas that could change everything, but they're trapped in a cycle of survival, working just to exist, existing just to work. When you're poor, every single day is a calculation of risk. Do I take the bus or walk 2 hours to save money? Do I buy the cheaper food that makes us sick? Or do I skip a meal so my kids can eat better? Do I keep this soul-crushing job I hate? Or do I risk everything on a dream that might leave us homeless? And here's what tears me apart. Society looks at poor people and says, you lack ambition. You're afraid to dream big. You need to change your mindset. But they don't see the weight. They don't feel the crushing pressure of knowing that one wrong move, one bad decision, one failed risk, and everything falls apart. When you live paycheck to paycheck, there is no safety net. There is no trying again. There's just falling. And you want to know the cruelest part? The absolute cruelest part? Poor people are told they think negatively, that their mindset is broken, that they need to be more positive. But their thinking isn't negative. It's realistic. It's survival. They've seen what happens when things go wrong. They've lived through the consequences that others only read about. So let me ask you, is it really fear? Or is it wisdom born from pain? But here's where the story gets deeper, and you need to hear this. There are thousands of videos on YouTube right now telling you to take the leap, to bet on yourself, to step out of your comfort zone. And yes, that's beautiful advice for someone who has a comfort zone. But what about the people who don't have comfort, who only have survival? You see, when a wealthy person takes a risk and fails, they learn, they pivot, they try again. They have a network, savings, family money, connections. When a poor person takes a risk and fails, their electricity gets shut off. Their kids miss school because they can't afford supplies. They lose the apartment. They lose everything. That's not a lesson. That's a catastrophe. And I'm tired. I'm so tired of people acting like poor people lack courage, like they're not brave enough. Do you know what real courage is? Real courage is getting up every single day when you're exhausted to your bones, when you've been beaten down by life again and again, when you have every reason to give up, and you still keep going. Real courage is choosing to hope when everything around you screams hopelessness. Real courage is working a job you hate, swallowing your pride, sacrificing your dreams so your children can have a chance at theirs. Poor people aren't lacking courage. They're drowning in circumstances. And the saddest part? The world has convinced them that their poverty is their fault, that they're not trying hard enough, that they're not positive enough. But I need you to hear this, and I need you to really hear this. Being poor is not a moral failure. Being afraid to take risks when you have nothing is not weakness. It's human. It's real. It's valid. The system is rigged, my friend, and pretending it's not doesn't help anyone. But, and this is important, understanding the system doesn't mean we're powerless within it. And that's where a story comes in, a story that changed how I see everything. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a cleaner. She worked in office buildings at night, scrubbing toilets, mopping floors. She'd come home at 6 a.m., sleep for 3 hours, then wake up to take care of her elderly mother who had dementia. Every day. Same cycle. Survival mode. Sarah had a dream once. She loved baking. As a child, her grandmother taught her to make cakes, bread, pastries. It was the only time she remembered feeling truly happy, truly alive. For years, she'd think about starting a small baking business, just something small, maybe selling at a local market on weekends. But every time the thought came, so did the fear. What if nobody buys anything? What if I waste money on ingredients? What if I lose my cleaning job and I can't pay rent? One night, Sarah had a breakdown. She was 43 years old, on her hands and knees scrubbing someone else's floor, and she just broke. She sat in that empty office and cried, really cried, the kind of crying where your whole body shakes and you can't breathe properly. And in that moment, she realized something. She was already broken. She was already living in fear. She was already sacrificing everything. So what exactly was she protecting? Sarah didn't quit her job. She couldn't afford to. But she did something small. She saved $5 a week. Just $5 for 3 months. With $60, she bought basic ingredients: flour, sugar, eggs, butter. On her one day off, she baked 3 dozen cookies. She took them to the local market and stood there terrified, holding a cardboard sign that said, "Homemade with love, $1 each." By noon, she'd sold 20 cookies, $20. She cried again, but this time they were different tears. The next week, she made more, sold more. It took her a full year of working her night job and baking on her day off before she made enough to rent a tiny stall at the market. 2 years later, she had a small following of regular customers. Today, 5 years later, Sarah still works part-time cleaning, but she also has a small bakery. Nothing fancy, just a little shop where she sells her grandmother's recipes. She's not rich, she's not a millionaire. She still struggles sometimes. But when I talked to Sarah, you know what she told me? She said, "I'm not afraid anymore, not because I'm successful, but because I tried. I honored the dream my grandmother gave me, and that made me free." I cried when she told me that. I'm not ashamed to admit it, because that's what real victory looks like for people like us. It's not mansions and sports cars. It's freedom from the fear that keeps us small. And if you're listening to this right now, and Sarah's story touched something inside you, then you need to hear what comes next. Here's what I need you to understand. Really understand. Your fear is not your weakness. It's your protection. You're not broken for being afraid. You're not defective for being cautious. You're human. But here's the thing about fear. It's supposed to protect you, not paralyze you. And there's a difference between smart caution and complete shutdown. Smart caution says, I need to think this through carefully. Complete shutdown says, I can never try anything. You don't have to take giant leaps. You don't have to risk everything. But you can take tiny steps, microscopic steps. Because here's what poverty does to your soul. It makes you forget that you have value, that you have gifts, that you matter. Society tells you your worth is measured in your bank account, but that's a lie. Your worth is in your resilience, your creativity, your ability to love even when life has given you every reason not to. And that's your superpower. Rich people don't understand what it means to create something from nothing, to make a meal from scraps, to find joy in the smallest victories. But you do. That ability to survive, to adapt, to keep going when everything is against you, that's a skill set money can't buy. So don't compare yourself to people who started on third base. Don't measure your progress by their timeline. Your journey is different. Your struggle is different. And your victory will be different. Maybe you won't build an empire. Maybe you won't become a millionaire. But maybe, just maybe, you can build something small, something yours, something that makes you feel alive again. And that matters. God, that matters so much. You are not less than anyone else because you're poor. You're just facing different battles. And baby, you're still standing. That alone makes you a warrior. But I know what you're thinking. Is there even hope for someone like me? And I need you to hear my answer. I won't lie to you. I won't promise you a fairy tale. I won't tell you that everything will be okay, that your dreams will all come true, that you'll escape poverty if you just believe hard enough. That would be cruel, and you deserve better than false hope. But here's what I will tell you. You are stronger than you know. Every single day you wake up and keep trying, that's heroic. Every single time you choose to hope when despair would be easier, that's powerful. Every single moment you sacrifice for someone you love, that's sacred. You might not change your entire life overnight, but you can change today. You can take one small step. You can honor one small dream. You can look at the mirror and say, I am worthy. I am valuable. I deserve to try. And maybe that small step leads nowhere. Maybe it does fail. But maybe, just maybe, it lights a spark. A tiny spark that reminds you that you're more than your circumstances, that you're more than your bank account, that you're more than what society has told you you're worth. You're a human being with gifts, with talents, with love to give. And that matters. You matter. Your story matters. And even if your risk doesn't make you rich, even if it doesn't change your whole life, if it gives you back a piece of your dignity, a piece of your hope, a piece of your joy, then it was worth it. Because you deserve to feel alive, not just survive. You deserve to dream, not just endure. You deserve to try, not just exist. And I believe in you, even if we've never met. Even if you think you're nobody, I see you. And you're somebody to me. So that's the truth, the real, raw, honest truth. If this video touched your heart, if it made you feel seen, please hit that like button. Because it tells me that honesty matters more than clickbait. And if you want more content like this, real conversations about money, struggle, hope, and dignity, then subscribe to ElderRaw. Because I'm here to walk this journey with you. No fake gurus, no get-rich-quick schemes, just truth. And please, please leave a comment below and tell me, what's your relationship with risk? Do you feel like poverty has made you afraid to dream? Have you ever taken a small risk that changed something for you? What's your Sarah story? What's that one thing you wish you could try? I read every single comment, and your story matters to me because we're in this together. You're not alone. And remember, being poor doesn't make you worthless. Being afraid doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And human beings were capable of extraordinary things, even in the smallest ways. I believe in you. Now go believe in yourself. Talk soon.